What's up, homies? What's up, homies? What's up, homies? Welcome to the Knowledgeable Homeowner Podcast. We pick the brains of industry pros to unlock the trade secrets of homeownership. Our mission is simple: to turn everyday people into knowledgeable homeowners. What's up, homies? Welcome back to the Knowledgeable Homeowner Podcast. Here with me today, I have Jennifer Cona, the Director of Operations from ICC Automation.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Welcome
to the barn.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. Like I said, sorry for the dirty detached garage, but this is the barn, and it's a little bit different of a vibe than what like you guys normally do, right? ICC Automation is smart home technology?
Yes.
Smart home stuff. Okay,
Yes.
So I definitely am due for some smart home, maybe some lighting or air conditioning, maybe a thermostat would be this first start. Yeah, maybe even a fan at this point would be good. But it's tradition here for you to take a minute, give us your backstory, how you got involved with ICC, ICC's backstory, give us the whole deal.
Yeah. So I started with ICC Automation in 2003. I answered an ad in my local penny saver. Dates me a little bit. And I just started answering phones for them. And it wasn't really supposed to be a permanent gig for me. My intention when I took the position was I was going to be leaving soon. Mm-hmm. But something just happened in that time, and I really loved what I was doing. I loved the people I worked with. I was having fun, in my young 20s, and, that matters too at that time.
Yeah, you had a good work-life balance.
I just never left, and I stayed. And through all of the years, I advanced through the different positions within the company. And if you can name it, I've done it. I've done everything. I've answered the phones. I've handled the office staff. I've handled the team. I've dug trenches. I've pulled cable. I have done it. And now I'm in this other position that I've taken on, more client-facing, shaking the hands, kissing the babies, that sort of thing.
Nice, yeah.
And it's really fun, and I've always enjoyed every step of the way.
Nice. All right, so you saying 2003, it does bring some questions to mind because I know like where smart home is at now, but the first thought is like, what is a company like ICC Automation doing in 2003 compared to today?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was a very different look. And we were just building gaming computers, computers for works, like hospitals, things like that, servers, building server rooms, still running the Cat6 cabling that was necessary for that to happen, but mostly just computers. The ICC stands for Island Computer Concepts.
That's funny.
So when we pivoted, we just broke it down and made it fit the next stage of our lives.
Yeah, so you just kept progressing with because at that point, 2003 is like, everybody was starting to, like bigger companies were starting to throw in the 8,000 Dell computers that they throw in, and nobody knew how to do it. And it's a pretty cool reoccurring thing that I hear from different people in the similar world that you're in, like the data stuff, the Ethernet cable. Like I knew a guy who's like, his company was just like he made a ton of money just selling Ethernet, and he came up with like what your company was doing. We probably bought a bunch of Ethernet cable from them, and just interesting. I love hearing all the different stuff, and it's cool to see a company adapt with the times and pivot into something else. So, all right, so different than what we were doing. It was more commercial stuff than, and different systems. So now we're more in residential, or is it still?
It was very residential at that time as well, because like I said, gaming computers, and people didn't know how to, do their own antivirus softwares and install their software at the time. We were living in a very different time where everybody knows how to do those things now. Yeah. But at that time, we were needed in the home as well. Right now, I would say that the bulk of our clientele is residential. We do have a nice little pool of commercial that we do as well, but bulk residential.
Cool. Okay. So then, back then, you said you started doing calls for them.
Yes.
So doing like sales or doing like customer service? Customer service.
Answering phones, ordering parts.
Wow. And then what did that turn into? Like as you were progressing there, you said you did a bunch of different stuff. So
yeah. Then it turned into just being the office manager. After that, I had become sort of like the general manager dealing with everybody. After that, I became the project manager. I was out on the job sites with my team, doing the work, the nitty-gritty on a job sites.
Yeah, and that's where it comes into like whatever needs to happen because it's like 5 o'clock on a Friday. You need to finish up, so it's like everybody's everybody's getting dirty. Everybody's doing the work.
Everybody's doing it, right? Part of that for me as well is that I'm female, And I always arrived to a site in those times, and I had to work really hard for everybody to acknowledge me and understand that I knew what I was doing. It took a lot of work for me in those times to build the relationship with the builder, with the electrician, with all these people, to understand, like, I'm not here. They didn't send me here because I'm a girl and they want me to be a pretty face. I have skills. I have capabilities. I can use a drill. I can do all the things. But you're working
with dumb, low IQ guys who have, but a lot of them probably came around, were probably great people, but their first reaction was like, girl.
The great girl.
Oh, yeah, girl. Sorry for men everywhere. We're sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know if I've ever gotten that.
Yeah, we're sorry.
No, it's okay. And I also get it. It's okay, right? I learned how to conduct myself in a different way because of it. I've learned so much from that position. Like, that position is my favorite position that I've ever held in the company because it taught me so much.
Yeah, you grew a lot from it.
Yeah, and it's brought me to where I am right now and given me a lot of the skills that I have in my toolbox to be able to handle situations that are sort of come from where, you know, you wouldn't really expect them. I'm able to handle them.
Yeah.
So because of that, I was out there with my guys. Like, I never wanted my guys to look at me that way either. I always wanted them to know, if I expect it of you, I expect it of me. So I taught myself.
Yeah, lead from the back.
Dig the trench. I did that in Sag Harbor on a job with my team in 2017. There was a hurricane coming in. We ended up not getting the hurricane, but we had the winds. We had all the stuff. And we were in Sag Harbor, right on the harbor. And we were digging a trench. And I put on a garbage bag. I grabbed a shovel and we dug a trench.
That's it.
And that's what you do, right? And then that was important for me to have everybody understand, you're here, I'm here, this is the work, and we will all get it done.
Yeah, I think it says something too about, like, a company too, is it's like, you know, it's, as a worker, they're expected to do something, but also too, if you chose to, as like the project manager, to not do that, it's kind of like, yeah, that's what they do. They watch and I do it. But it's also just like, it creates a culture of like, we're a team, we're going to get it done. And there's a time and place for everything. There's a time for you to step back and take care of the things that are at your pay grade. But like you said, there's a time where it's like, we got to get in there and do it. So, all right, so you have a really unique experience from really like all angles of it. And then also, as your industry adjusts and things change, technology comes into play. And that's what gets me really excited. I love the technology in a home now. And I think if we could just take like a 30-second video of the things we have in a house now that are almost standard and show it to somebody like 10, 15, 20 years ago, they would scream, you know? So I'm excited to hear a little bit about like what you guys are doing on a day-to-day today. What does it look like?
Right now, the bulk of my projects are motorized shades. That seems to be the thing that people are really interested in right now, and the thing that people are really looking to add that convenience into their life. Also, a lot of outdoor landscape lighting, low voltage cabling. So those seem to be the two things that are really taking off at the moment, and we're very focused on those things as well, because the technology department, the technology side of things is slowing down a bit. People are a little bit technology fatigued, I think.
That's a really good point.
Yeah,
I can
think
see that.
People are just like kind of tired of like always having their phone in their hand, always depending on this, and I get it. I mean, I get it. I live in it too. You just feel this overwhelming. So I think they're focusing more on things that can bring aesthetic beauty to them as well.
Cool.
And landscape lighting and motorized shades is a really fun and unique and also convenient. And it's a convenience to your life way to do that.
Yeah, so motorized shades, is like, explain a little bit. Is it just I press a button and they go down, or now we're talking smart home? Is there an integration? Like, what are we looking at with motorized shades today?
Yes, there's integration as well. Most of the systems that we design and install are Lutron, so those are all programmable to whatever your needs are. So say you have windows that face the sun in the middle of the day and you always have hot blasting sun in there. We're able to program those shades to its time, the astronomical timer, so that way shades can come down or go up based on the position of the sun. It's keeping the sun out of your home, so therefore protecting your assets as well. Not fading your floors as quickly, your rugs, your furniture, anything like that. Also, just the absolute convenience of waking up in the morning. I don't know about you, but I had to walk around my house and open every single blind, and at night walk around and close every single, because my husband would happily live in darkness.
Yeah, that's me. I'm the cave guy. Yeah, I keep it. My wife, if she could hear from inside her house, she'd be like, yes, that's me, 100%. In the summer more than ever, because it's, as an energy guy, like solar heat gain. But just year round, like, if I want light, I'll turn it on.
Yes.
Or I'll use a flashlight. I have a flashlight on me 24/7. I do home inspections, so I'll go in a house and like, there's a thing about inspecting in the dark, like when I'm in a basement, it does make contrast. So I do actually like being in the dark and using a flashlight, but it does make me laugh because I don't even think about it anymore. Where people are like, you good? Like you're walking around in the dark. I'm like, no, I actually like it. So yes, that's in my house. I would override the programming just to keep them down 24/7, and I would just peek them up when like somebody knocks. But that's interesting. I actually, to take it on a serious note, you guys are programming it based on time of day, based on when the light's actually coming in.
Yes.
And it goes both ways. It's when we want the light to come in.
Yes.
Or like for me, trying to keep the house at a normal temperature.
Yes.
In the summer, it's to keep the
heat out, to keep the sun out, it brings down costs of your energy bill in order to control the temperature within your home a little bit better. There's so many advantages to having motorized shades, blinds, drapes, whatever that looks like.
So the automation, is it connected, like we said, integrating? Is it integrated to, Alexa or Google Home, or is it a Lutron software that the client can log into and you guys log into?
No. We use two different control systems, Josh AI as one, and the other one is Control 4. You've probably heard of both or at least one of those. Both of those programs are able to be used from one easy app on your phone where you can control everything, actually. You can control those shades, you can control the lights, you can control your alarm, video surveillance, access control to your doors, audio, video, the temperature within your home. You name it, they can integrate into those. Okay,
interesting. And like I said, so the homeowner has access to it too, but you guys also help them kind of set it up. It's kind of the system.
Absolutely.
So now we spoke briefly in talking about energy efficiency. Are there integrations with systems, or we're just, like we said, we're kind of keeping it general where it's like middle of the day in the summer, we're keeping the sun out of the house, kind of just going off of that, really?
I think that it's really tailored to, I know that it's really tailored to the customer's needs.
Okay.
And that's the big big part of what we do, the customization. That's the thing we really lean on, because everybody's needs are different. The way you use your home is different. Maybe you want that sun in that room for some reason, and we can make that not happen for you. So very important to us that when this whole system is starting, this whole process is starting, that we're having those conversations directly with the homeowner to understand how it is that they want to use their home and how the home should interact back with them. So getting all that information from them and being able to set up the system in a very custom way is very important to us. Yes, you can have Alexa. She's not going to operate the way these custom systems do. And the fine-tuning of those things is so much deeper than anything Alexa could ever handle.
Okay, so it sounds like to me like there's definitely different levels of quality to it. Now, and yours is a higher quality product. In your world of higher quality product, is there levels to it? Like this is Knowledgeable Homeowner Podcast, we have a lot of younger homeowners, potential homeowners, and this could even apply to people who rent. It doesn't have to be in their home they own. Is there like base level or lower level things that they can start off with, or is this really more of a premium product?
No, it applies to everybody, and that's one of those things I like to have these conversations about, because while yes, high net worth, high net income, that tends to be my clientele.
Because
tends to be where we land, because everybody does think, I can't do that, this is for the rich and the famous, this is for the rich people, and it's really not. It's for anybody who is looking to add convenience to their life. Like I said, the shades, do I want to walk around my house every day and pull down 16 shades and then put them back up? No, I do not. I have more important things to do with my time. If that's happening quickly and for me, I appreciate anything that can happen for me. So I would say that, yes, if you're looking at doing an entire 26,000 square foot house, we're going to run into some money issues, right? But for somebody in an apartment who would really like to handle one of those windows that are really problematic for them, very cost-efficient methods out there for them.
Well, I think like even talking about like the single bedroom apartment person, we're in Islip, you go 10 minutes to the west and you're in Bayshore, there's some expensive apartments there, and there's people who make good money who just might not have the need, or it's just not the time for them to own a home, but they probably do spend money on convenience things in their home. So in their apartment, if there's 4 windows and 2 of them are in their bedroom and it's east facing, you can have the timer where it's like when you want it out. So it actually does apply even on the smaller scale. Does your company do smaller scale projects like that? Like you guys would do like 2 windows?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I suggest everybody tries to do. Maybe your master bedroom is a good place to start with that also, because all the systems are expandable. You can have everything done in just your master bedroom, live with it, see how you love it. It was cost effective for you to do so. And then after you love it, call me back and we'll expand it into other areas of your home. And that's what's really exciting about technology as well. It's not just like you have to do this one and done solution and then once you have it, you kind of got to live with it. It's expandable and it's forever changing. So we're constantly making upgrades and just little tweaks to things so that it changes with the way you live also.
So thinking about the motorized blinds and the systems and talking about kind of future-proofing them, what is the design aspect of it? Like, so we have the physical components. You have a motorized blind, but what do they look like? They come in different styles, different blinds. Like, which ones are we limited?
You are not limited. There are catalogs and catalogs of designs and fabrics and hem bars and fascias and anything you can think of how you would want it to look. There are options for you. They can be left to be painted to match the room exactly how you want it to be painted by the painter. There are special hem bars that can be made so that they look different or match the fixtures or door handles in your room. The same metals can be used. It's not it's very different from when shades started, 15, 20 years ago when they started motorizing them and you had to do this really specific look and everything was like sort of like this brown woven like.
Yeah, because that's what I'm like kind of seeing it in my head. So what you're saying at this point, we've come far enough where it's like, whatever you want it to look like, we can get it to look like.
It will look like that. It will be beautiful.
And when you buy it, you're buying it as one piece. It's not like we buy the motorized system and then, if in 10 years, if we wanted to change the look, we would be changing the unit as one. It's not like we have the motorized piece and then we have the fabrics and stuff.
Once you have that installed and you have the motorized portion of that happening, you can ask in 10 years to change because you painted and now your drapes don't match anymore.
Oh, wow.
That's fine.
So the motorized portion of it actually could stay in place and we can replace it. Wow, that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, and even like thinking about piecemealing it, like I just had this conversation with my wife. We were like, we wanted to buy a different bed set for my son, and we didn't want to buy the full bedroom set, but we were like, should we buy the one piece of the 3-piece set that we would buy, and then next year, the year after, buy the other 2? And we realized we're probably going to want something different, right, at that point. So my point being, like, if I piecemealed like nice blinds like this together, because I do that, like I'll do one room at a time kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that I'm not stuck, because in a few years when I do the next one, if I wanted to update the ones I currently have to match whatever the newer style is, you can do that.
Exactly.
Wow.
Because your tastes and your needs are always changing. So, I just bought a house back in August.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And that was one of the big things. I told my husband when we moved in, I want everything to be white and clean and don't touch anything. And this is how it looks.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. Now, if you walked in my house, you'd be like, what happened to white and clean?
Yeah.
I have decided that certain rooms just feel a certain way to me. And so I have one room that's all black right now.
Nice.
So,
did you do the ceiling too?
Yes,
the
I
paint
did.
wash? That's like, our painter came and told us that's a big thing. Did you do any wallpaper?
I did.
Because wallpaper, Dane Carlson Paint Paper. Carlson Paint Paper was one of our original guests,
Yes.
and he crushes it with wallpaper.
Oh,
and he
love
told us,
it.
he's like, wallpaper's on fire now, and you'll wallpaper the whole room, the ceiling and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wallpapered the ceiling of my bedroom.
Nice. Yeah.
Because I wanted a different look. I wanted something else happening
Yeah.
up there. So that's what I'm saying. Like once you move in, you like have an idea of what you think you want and what you want things to look like. And then as you live in your space and you grow with your space, you start to find your own style.
Yeah.
And everything starts to come together.
We had a contractor on who said, move in and figure out your traffic patterns before you do anything. You got to know how you move in the house and what you like and what you see. And
how it this sounds silly, kind of how it talks to you. Like you feel how you feel in this room and then you are able to bring it out in the room. And the shades are the same exact thing. Like the room that I made black. I had white because I wanted everything white. I had white in there and then I wanted everything black. And then it started becoming very ornate and I realized this is not working for me. And I pulled out those blind drapes and I replaced them with something that I wanted. And it was a lesson in that starting with one thing is okay because you adjust later. Yeah. And that's totally fine.
All right, cool. So that's one of my questions was what is a common misconception most homeowners have about smart home in general and like the specific stuff that you're doing. So I think a misconception, because even on my end, would be like that I'd have to do kind of a bigger product. Like I couldn't kind of piece it together. Yeah. And the thought of being is because like I want them all to kind of match. Like I don't want to have it kind of mix matched.
Yeah. It's the biggest misconception, I think, of a renovation or a move-in or anything like that.
Yeah.
You're going to change.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's okay.
Are there other misconceptions that come to mind about like that product, or like common questions you get from homeowners, like when the team's dealing with it about these products, that at least like common misconceptions in that area? Yeah.
I don't think so. I can't think of anything else.
So for me, like thinking about it, like if I was going to purchase it, is like is there maintenance involved in it, and what is like the life expectancy of one of these things?
So it depends on how it's been set up to operate. If it is set up hardwired, it's just going to operate forever. You don't have to worry about it. Set it and forget it, and that's it. There are also systems that are battery operated in the cases where you're unable to get wiring to that position, or it's already completed and you're doing this after the fact. And the batteries have a 4 to 6 year battery life, they say.
Oh, wow.
This is based on the amount of usage, too, if you're using them a little more
Still a long
or
time.
a little less. It's
Yeah.
still a very long time. They are very quiet systems at that as well.
Oh, wow. So you said hardwired. So if we're doing, like, when you're doing these new, like, I do energy efficiency work. I do a lot of work out east, like you said, these really expensive houses. So when they're doing these designs, the better designer is considering the motorized blinds. And so when they're hardwired, are they giving it an outlet and plugging it in, or are they actually like hardwired to a junction box?
Both.
Yeah.
Some of them run directly from the shade itself to a local closet or whatever that might be, and then it's plugged into an outlet. Or there's a centralized panel somewhere in the basement, and they're all running to the panel, and they're punched down into the panel themselves, and that's how they're getting powered.
Okay. But for the retrofit, we're going to do the battery operated ones.
Most likely.
Yeah, because unless you have an outlet right there.
Yeah.
Most convenient to do the battery operated ones. Okay.
Yes.
And now thinking about the retrofit and thinking about homeowners, I do inspections for people buying houses. If I was looking at a house that had one of these systems existing, like what are things maybe they should look out for, brands that they should look out for, like any advice for somebody who's buying a house that has motorized blinds already installed?
Yes. The biggest name out there and the one we work with the most and we are partnered with is Lutron. I think everybody knows that name.
Yeah, Lutron's definitely super popular.
You see them everywhere. The other shades that are that you will see around, there's some Clara, they're called, Hunter Douglas. Also, a lot of them with motorized by Somfy. So those are some of the names of things that are kind of the biggest in the market right now.
Yeah, but as far as brands go, or as far as seeing them in place, like I said, thinking about it, I guess the only concern I would have is maybe how old they are, if they're battery powered, because we know at some point, if they're 5 years old and the battery is about 6 to 10 years or 6 to 8 years, we're going to be dealing with that. And now that's as simple as, can I order the battery online and replace it myself, or is that like we call a smart home tech?
They're generally D-cell batteries.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You're talking like it's not like some proprietary battery that I have to order them. You're talking regular, big old school Maglite batteries.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, so they can so if I see them in the house and I don't know how they are and I know they're battery powered, if they stop working, it's something that I can fix myself.
Yes.
Okay.
And I would say that the only thing is that you have to get a ladder, you have to get up behind it, and you have to pull off that cover. That's when people start to get a little nervous because they're worried they're going to break something all the time. You're not.
Yeah, just be delicate with it.
Just be delicate.
That's where the name Knowledgeable Homeowner came from. So when I do home inspections, what we do is we'll say, this is what we see. This is why it's bad. This is who to call to fix it, is like the general breakdown of most comments. I don't always like recommending a contractor for something as simple like keep the leaves out of the window well, right? So I'll say DIY. But I heard this term from somewhere else and it really resonated with me. So I started saying you can contact a handyman. This can be done by a handyman or a knowledgeable homeowner. And the reason I did that is because exactly what you just said. Yes, technically, not anybody can just go up there and do it, because if you go up there like a dummy and you rip it off and you break stuff, you're going to mess it up, or somehow you zap yourself, you're going to mess it up. But if you make yourself just a little bit knowledgeable on what to do, what not to do, with so many little projects, it will go so much better. So that's where Knowledgeable Homeowner came from. I was putting in my reports, and it's just something that always resonated with me. And it's like, what is a knowledgeable homeowner? And that's just like one of those things.
That means something different to everybody, right? What a knowledgeable homeowner would be.
Yeah, and I definitely think there's degrees to it. Like what I like is, I think like the DIY or roll up your sleeves type person, like they're going to do it anyway. What I like is I want people to realize that there is a degree of things that they can do. And there's also, it's not only just about doing it yourself, it's about knowing the ins and outs of things. So if you do pay somebody to do it, you know you're getting the right job done.
Yes.
You know who to call and you're not getting taken advantage of.
Yes.
Because on Long Island, I see that far too often where people are just...
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yes, and I experience that a lot as well. My husband lets me handle a lot of the things that happen in the house because of my profession.
Yeah, in the industry, yeah.
Yeah, he works for the state. He's no dummy. He knows what he's doing too, but he just kind of lets me handle it because I'm in those situations all the time. Yeah. And how many times, again, they start talking to him and not me, when he'll be like, you got to talk to this girl. And they figure me out after a while. Yeah. And I think that it's really important that a lot of people, especially women, take a couple of minutes to understand some of those things, because you don't want to feel helpless. You're not a damsel in distress.
Yeah, 100%.
You have it. You got it.
Yeah.
You know, and just have a little bit of understanding of what's going on.
It's not to discredit construction or houses in at all, because this is my life.
Yeah,
I'm building signs. I love this stuff. I'm passionate about it. And there's certain things that are really deep in that it takes somebody in that field day in, day out to really understand it. But most of it is not that difficult. And a joke I say, and again, this isn't, I failed my way into construction. I didn't graduate into construction. I left college to get into construction. So most of the concepts don't need a deep understanding of things.
Exactly.
As you get deeper into the weeds, it does. But most of the stuff that the homeowner can understand, it is definitely simpler.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I started doing things in my own home. When I bought the new house, I said, I want to do it because I want my hands to be part of this house now, number one. And number two, I want to have a deeper understanding of how to use, you know, a saw and all of these. I watch it every day on a site, and I'm like, I can do that.
You can.
And then I go home, and I'm like, I want to use a circular saw. And my husband's like,
oh, God.
Put on some gloves.
Yeah,
you know?
just don't cut your hand off. But
yeah, he's like, got me putting gloves on, goggles, helmets, and I'm like...
The full safety thing, just rip,
Which is totally fine.
Yeah, exactly. Especially on our own home. Nobody's paying you to do it, so it's totally fine. We can mess up. But I think, and circling it back to your industry, like, there is definitely a lot of smart home stuff that people can do themselves.
Yes.
I do think installing blinds is a little bit skill intensive, because you got to be plumb level, you got to drill into the wall, you got to know you're catching, especially with motorized. It's heavier, I'm sure, than a motor, so we got to know we're catching studs and beams and whatnot. So this one probably won't be.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Again, for somebody who, like myself, who's at home, or you could probably handle that, right? That's not that big of a deal.
I might go in a little crooked.
You have your wife to deal with after that.
Exactly.
But no, I don't think so, because there's so much that goes into it, even pre-installation. Mm-hmm. The ordering process itself is sort of in depth. You have to know so many things that you have to know what is your fold. How many folds do you, how many pleats do you want in it? How long is it? How wide is it? You have to know, you have to measure in 4 different spots, because widths are different. It's like there's so many little details.
That first question, how many folds or how many pleats? That's the where it's like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna let somebody else handle that. It's like, yeah, I don't think I know how many folds it is, and I'll leave it to the professional.
I read a question just yesterday, and I do this every day. It's like, what is the fullness? And I was like, what are you asking me? All right, I had to take a couple of minutes and think about exactly what I was answering. And I was like, oh, I know what it's asking me, right? But you wouldn't have known. The fullness? What?
No, I'm just throwing that right in AI. Be like, pretend you know what this means. Please tell me
and
the
answer the question. Thank you.
All right, so motorized blinds, more on the, let's call it professional, do it right, especially because it's not $20 to do them. So you're gonna spend good money. It's something that's gonna last, but we want it done right and to last a long time. Mm-hmm. So I really like the motorized blinds. I didn't really I knew we were going to talk about it, but I didn't realize how much I'd be into it, and I want them right now. I want them.
I'm ready. Let's
go. Want them immediately. But in the topic, is there other items you guys are throwing in regularly? We talked about the landscape lighting, but even in a house, what are the other products right now that you guys are installing?
Yeah. So because of the huge uptick in people using AI, as you just mentioned, we're also installing some voice-activated AI systems, specifically with Josh AI. Mm-hmm. Josh allows you to just walk in your home and give voice commands. They don't even have to be simple, and it'll execute those commands for you. So as an example, you walk into your home, you're holding grocery bags, you got kids running past you into the house, the dog's jumping up to say hi. You can just say, hello, Josh, please turn on the lights in the kitchen, start the television in the playroom for the children. I would like you to make sure Netflix is on and start the music as well. And Josh pulls all of those commands you've said, and it starts.
Yeah, it's taking the Alexa. It's taking the Alexa to another level.
To a whole other level. Yeah. Alexa expects you to be extraordinarily specific in your commands, and you can't say turn on the kitchen pendants or turn on pendants in kitchen, because it doesn't know what that means. Yeah. Whereas Josh understands what all of that means.
My mother-in-law has it, and then my nieces and nephews, they know how to talk to it. So they've gotten pretty good. They know the cadence Alexa wants to hear, but my mother-in-law, she's very tech savvy for her age, but she just can't figure it out. So it does make me laugh because she says it like 4 times. I'm like, just go and do it. But the kids are getting like they know the cadence to say it. So
yes.
So the Josh AI. That is connected. Is there like a Josh AI speaker, or does Josh AI the AI that we can connect all of our smart devices to? Because that's like what you were getting at before, like my Philips Hue light bulb and my Google Nest and all that stuff. That can all connect to it.
Yes, Josh can control everything. Yeah.
So it's like I feel like I hear the term AI agent. It's like an AI agent in a sense where it's like does the work. So it has its own proprietary app where we connect all our stuff to it.
Yes.
We tell it what to do and it just handles the rest.
It's the control system.
Wow. Okay, so that's what you guys are using to connect. So as far as if I have half my house is kind of smart, and I want to add new stuff, and I want to add the Josh, you guys as a company can come in and retrofit the existing stuff and the new stuff to something like a Josh AI.
And we would assess what those smart items you have in the home are right now and what Josh's capability is with that particular item. I know a lot of like rings, nests, things like that. Mm-hmm. There are drivers within there that you can make that connection, right? But it may have limited functionalities because of the DIY aspect of the ring side and the more DIY side of that. It wants to control, the smarter, but it does have a way to connect with those as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Most of them.
All right. So, I mean, it's a little clear to me, but I do want to ask you anyway, because one of my questions was what is the technology or product that you're most excited about? Because this is an innovative field, and I'm sure there's I remember as a kid there was E3, it was like the Electronics Expo, and I'm sure there's like a trade show for what you guys do every year that gets you hyped. It sounds like it's like Josh AI is definitely it, but is there something else that I'm missing too that you'd say like you're most excited about and can't wait to see what happens with it?
Yeah, so Josh AI for sure. I cannot wait for more people to start installing so I can do more of that work because that's so cool. But what I really like right now is I'm really starting to realize that I enjoy the landscape lighting part of what I do. Mm-hmm. And I know we already touched on it a little bit, but I'm like very excited about it. I think because I am so unknowledgeable about lighting itself. I'm not an electrician, right? So I depend on the electrician for a lot of my questions and answers to things like that. But now because they are low voltage and they don't have to be line voltage anymore, we've gotten more into them. And I really enjoy being able to make a yard look beautiful too. It changes, how you want to use your space. Mm-hmm. And it's new for me.
Yeah. So it's exciting.
So I'm really excited about it, and it feels really good to like walk with a homeowner and see what it is that they want and come back with an idea and then execute it, and then in the end I see it and I'm like, oh, I did that.
I did hear somebody recently, I forgot who it was, but they were talking about how much they enjoy ambient lighting. Yes. And when you go and it's funny because now that I heard that, I think it was somebody famous. And it's like you go into a space and you hear them, you look at it's like, oh wow, they went out of their way to light this a certain way.
Yes.
I like being on Long Island, we only have a short window of time where we can enjoy outside. So I do love like minted out backyard spaces. Like one of my buddies has a nice heavy construction company, does a lot of pools and all that. And I love some of the stuff they do.
Yes.
So now that you're saying it, like I do see how landscape lighting can take it to another level.
Change it, you set your mood and you're just outside all day at the barbecue, at the pool, whatever that is. Outdoor speakers, outdoor television, you're like living your best life out there, especially in a time when we were all told to go home and stay there. Yeah. That's where this sort of started taking off too, because people
at-home
understood.
Oasis resort, that's what it feels like.
I don't want to leave my house.
Yeah, but I'm good with that. Like that's how I am too.
Me
Is
too.
Like like I said, one of my buddies has a really nice backyard, and like he's gonna have people over next week, and like honestly, let's go as long as possible. The kids love it because his kids are the same age, and it's like we'll go stay as long as possible.
And when that can transition into the evening, because you've been having a whole day in the sun, you don't even recognize like, oh, we're sitting out here in the dark, or you're like you're waving your hands to turn on a motion sensor, motion light. It just happens without any thought.
I was just saying, so with the landscape lighting, is the automation kind of straightforward as far as it turns on at a certain time, or is there different things that we can get into that maybe are less obvious with the automation?
Yeah, so it can be set up just so when the light starts going, it's set on a timer,
Yeah, it gets dark out and the light goes on.
Yeah, but that's what you're set to, right? And you got to remember to change that setting. And whatever. They have astronomical timers that know when the sun is coming up or when the sun is going down, and based off of that, they can turn the lights on and off. Or you can go to programming and decide that you don't want that to work like that at all, and you can have them set up to your own, these come on at this time, and then they go off when these come on, or whatever that looks like.
So can the landscape lighting be connected to something like the Josh AI as well?
Absolutely.
Okay. And does the Josh, so like when, like Nest, right? Nest has like the, I think it connects to your location, where it's like when you're home it will go, and when you're away it will do a different setting. Is there something like that where it's like when I'm in the backyard, can you customize Josh AI? I just thought about it. Can you customize Josh AI where it's like when I'm in the backyard at 8 p.m. the lights will be on, but if I'm not home the lights will be off? Can you get that deep with it, you think?
I don't know. Nobody's asked me that, and
I've heard of it. It's called If This Then That, and I know back like my brother's a
Yes.
a tech hobbyist.
If This Then That Control 4 does a lot of the if this then
that. Yeah. So
that is the programming. That's what I do all the time. If this is happening, then that. So yes, there are ways to make that happen, but you need other devices for that to happen. It needs to have occupancy sensors. It needs to have contacts to know open or close, whatever that looks like. So for outside specifically, I don't know what those devices are. Like you can't put an occupancy center in your backyard because there's birds.
I wonder if maybe we could do something like, I guess location's really specific too, because you have to be really close.
Like if your
but I love that stuff though.
Alarm is armed, then turn them on.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Or maybe if you're just home or not home. But I like it. I like the option though, and because that's like where it's not like cookie cutter, like one size fits all. This is like, especially with the AI stuff, like, I found out the if this then that thing, 'cause like I said, my brother's like tech hobbyist. He worked for Geek Squad, and he's always been like, it's something he's really, really passionate about. So 5-6 years ago, he's in an apartment, he's got a window AC, and he's got a Nest thermostat that controls his baseboard heat, but your window AC is on a remote. So he had it set to, the AC was connected to a smart outlet.
Yes.
And it was at if this then that, when the thermostat hits a certain point,
yes,
it will turn the AC outlet on. Yeah, and he made it a little smart. Now the window ACs come smart, and we have the flare puck, which is something on the HVAC side that will control ductlesses and whatnot. But it was always like, it's like, dude, that was,
it was smart.
He
thought about it.
Smooth move. Yeah,
he thought about it.
Yeah. So that's why, like I said, it's just something we geek out about. I love smart home tech and all the different things that you can do with it, and how it can just be customized to like what people want.
Yeah. Which is, I think, a good point that you make in terms of the outlet as well, because that does exist out in the world. Lutron makes one specifically. I use it in my own home. And it's a way to have other lighting in the home. Again, the lighting is really exciting right now. It's a way to have other lighting in the home that's happening automatically and producing that ambient light for you, because everybody has, hi-hat cans in their home. I don't know about you. I do not turn them on in my home. When we moved in, we had none. My house was 100 years old, and I had my electrician come in and put hi-hats in, because I was like, how the heck does everybody see? I've found I don't even turn them on anymore.
Nice.
I have chandeliers that I do use, but other than that, I have table lamps, and I've used those outlet controllers for them to come on and off automatically, and I can control them from the app in my phone. I installed keypads on the walls that are programmed as well, that I can control them from there as well.
Yeah. Like getting really deep with it, I see some of, like you mentioned before, the control panels they have the smart home control panels, and some of these houses have just so many things going on.
Yeah.
I mean, you go in the mechanical room and there's like 4 of these panels. It's unbelievable. But
Yeah.
I love that stuff. We see gigantic houses, and they're beautiful, and the roof's slate, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, great. But, like, sometimes you can go so much deeper. And some of these houses don't. Like, I'm an HVAC. I do a lot of HVAC stuff. So I hate when I go in a really expensive house and I see a super basic HVAC system.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way with the smart home stuff, where obviously if it's, an older client who's not going to be able to figure it out, okay. But there's so many of the younger people that are building these houses now where it's like, you could totally figure it out. And I just think that's like, some houses crush it, and some houses totally just miss the mark on it.
No, I agree with you. I do the exact same thing. It's part of our nature, I believe, especially from what we do. I'll walk in and be like, why did they do that? There's so much nicer ways to do that, to achieve that. And I can't understand. I get upset. My husband says to me all the time, we go to a restaurant, and I'm looking for the speakers to see what they use, and I find the cameras, and I'm like, oh, that's what they did. And he's like, You
can't turn it off.
Yeah,
I know. Once
I just can't.
It's the Matrix. It's like once you know it's fake, it's done. And when commercial spaces are the worst, because there's just so much cheap stuff going on.
Yes.
But I deal with it. Like I said, I'm really into HVAC right now, so I love the heating and cooling stuff. But even just in general, I can't go to a hotel anymore. It's unbelievable. I'm like, this place is gonna burn down. It's like, it's so bad.
This place is gonna burn.
Yeah, this place is a safety hazard.
Tell me what those places are.
Yeah, every single one that I walk into, including my own home.
Fantastic,
Yeah,
great.
including my own house. So don't worry. But definitely, this thing is a fire. Don't look above your head. There's open places over your head right now. But we're getting close, and I do want to ask you one question because we touched on it, but I want to see if you can really grill it, right?
Okay.
Talk about Josh AI, and we really like it. I can't wait to go Google it. And then we talked about things like Amazon, right? Clear cut. Mm-hmm. I know where you stand on it. I want to hear the Josh AI versus Alexa. Mm-hmm. What makes one better than the other?
Several things. First of all, just its overall functionality. Josh can handle way more than Alexa can or ever will. She is meant to be an easy, standalone DIY solution, and I support it. I think everybody should have those things in their life. Do it. If we're looking for more customized solutions, Josh AI is the way to go. The voice control of him is far smoother. He also has a lot of privacy. Alexa is tied to Amazon, and they're constantly listening to you. Your phone is constantly listening to you. Yeah. Josh AI is proprietary and set up in a way where it is not listening to you. It is connected to the internet because you can ask it what the temperature is, what's the weather tomorrow, stuff like that, and he will give you answers. However, he is not always listening to you.
Wow.
So that's a big security ease right there that a lot of people feel in the Josh AI. Additionally, he controls more things than Alexa ever could. She's only set up to understand certain commands and control certain systems, especially those that are connected back. You want to control that outlet, mm-hmm. You need another Alexa, excuse me.
Yeah, we got to stick to our brands.
She recognizes her own things. Josh can recognize many different things. So if you already have Lutron dimmers in your home, outlet dimmers in your home, when we bring Josh in, he knows those. You don't have to upgrade all those.
That's a really good point, because that was actually another question that I didn't get to is what brand are we married to a brand when we do it? And I feel like when you stick to Google and you stick to Alexa, you are married to it. Yes. But now when we upgrade to a better comprehensive system, we're not married to it anymore. We can get the product we want, and something like Josh AI can handle it.
And one of the other things I'd like to note about that is the devices themselves. The Alexa devices, you know what they look like. Everybody knows what they look like. You have a disc sitting on a top, or and it's just the light coming on. Josh's are much more discreet. Some of them are even built in to just be right next to the switch when you walk in your room. Mm-hmm. And it's a little, just like a blank plate almost, with a little circle in the middle, and that's what you're talking to. But he can hear you from wherever you are. So you do have to have some of those devices strategically placed throughout, but far less than you need, and it does need to be in every room, and you're mostly not going to see that device.
Oh, okay, good. So we definitely, I'm glad. I wanted to give you the chance to lay it out there and make the official statement on how you felt about it, because I felt it. And I definitely made a face when you talked about the privacy thing, because I've just admitted defeat with it, where it's I use it at this point where it's when I want to remember later what product I want to buy, I'll just say new shoes, and then I know I'm going to get a shoes ad. So that's I didn't even know there was an option to be less living in public.
Yes, it's absolutely wild.
Okay, that's a huge part of it too, because I think so many, like you said early, we have smart home and tech fatigue, where we're trying to do less, and that's a good way to stay current and also protect your privacy.
Maintain some semblance of privacy. your phone's always going to listen to you.
I know.
I can't do anything about that. My sister and I were talking about drying herbs the other day, and then I sat down that night and 100. I was like, "Are you kidding?"
I know.
It's very annoying. It's not going to stop. So
yeah, but if we can avoid it in one way or another.
In some way, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we're gonna wrap up. Mikey's telling us it's time to go. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the conversation.
Thank you.
Your passion and your knowledge about this topic is totally evident, and myself and the homies appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you want to take a second to just tell people where to find you, drop your Instagram handle and all that good stuff, you can let them know.
Yeah, Jennifer from ICC Automation. You can find us at www.iccautomation.com. Also, our Instagram is ICC Automation. And you can send an email if you'd like at info@iccautomation.com.
Sweet. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, stay knowledgeable.